Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords with restored content. With me, Get Daved. We're going to be calling the game KOTOR 2 from now on. I'm going to do a little bit of the normal bookkeeping stuff, so if you want to get straight to the action, I recommend skipping ahead about 2 minutes. So, Knights of the Old Republic 2, I have my copy of it from retail on like 4 CDs from way back in the day. It was a pain to get working on Windows 7. If you want to know how to get it working on your computer, I'm just going to give you the only answer that I can that'll be helpful right now, which is probably just try buying it on Steam, where it is much easier to get, and they'll handle the configuration problems for you, and beyond that, I can't help you at all. I installed this on my computer like almost 2 years ago, because right after the FF Tactics co-op LP I did with Widescreen, formerly known as Snapwave, we were talking about doing this as a co-op LP afterwards, and that is what we're doing now. Snap/Widescreen is going to be taking over. We're going to trade off at planets, so it's going to be a back and forth thing, and we might do some dual commentary ones where we take advantage of the miracle of the internet to have one person watch the other, and yeah, we'd co-op it a little bit that way as well. So that about sums up that end of things. I also wanted to explain the mods we're going to be playing with. The obvious one is the restored content mod. To get it, just Google, or whatever search engine you like, KOTOR 2 restored content mod, or even KOTOR 2 mods. There's lots of places to find it. It's just not that hard to track down. The story goes, the game was kind of rushed out the door. In retrospect, I think we're supposed to blame LucasArts. That's the way history has sort of recalled it, or written it down. And consequently, the game had a large number of bugs and a lot of missing content. Some of it manifested itself as entire planets not being in the game that were planned, that were partly developed and modeled and everything, but they just couldn't get done. Other things are dialogue options having dead ends in them, or yeah, just sort of patchy content areas in other parts of the game. So the restored content mod fixes a ton of that, and that's how we're going to be playing it. I also have the Exiled Robes patch installed. It's a mod. I actually helped repackage it. Someone else did it. Some really cool robes added to the game. We won't be able to use them until we have either a light side or a dark side affinity. And on that note, I think we can get started here. Okay, now I normally play games as males because I am male, but the Exile is canonically female, and the first time I played the game, I played through as a guy, and I thought, at the end of it, I always envisioned Revan as a guy, and if you don't know about Revan, I suggest playing Knights of the Old Republic 1 or watching someone's LP of it, perhaps mine, because we will be dealing with the consequences of the events of that game. Anyway, canonically Revan was male, and I get that, but canonically the Exile, who is the main character of this game, is supposed to be female. So, to decide, I'm just going to flip a coin. I have a toonie in my hands. Heads will be female, tails will be male. And female it is. I also want to choose between Jedi Guardian and Jedi Sentinel, because one other thing I forgot to mention was we got the idea to try doing sort of a gunslinger Jedi. For reasons that will be explained during the story, the Exile would probably be the sort to develop a bunch of extra Jedi skills, let's say. And also just a cool way of doing that. I think I'm gonna just go with the Sentinel, though. The motivation for that is I think it'll be easier to hand back and forth a Sentinel. So for portrait, according to canon, this is the face of the Exile, whose name is Mitra Surik. Um, I think this one kind of looks more like how she's depicted in the Old Republic. You do see her face in the Old Republic. We'll go canon, I guess. Attributes. What do they recommend? That's actually pretty close to what I was gonna do. I'm gonna take a couple points out of strength. I'm not gonna run it into the negatives, because I don't want to have penalties there. And I think I'm gonna bump intelligence down to 12, because we are a Jedi Sentinel, so the skills that, well, let me put it this way. The Jedi Sentinel gets a decent number of base skill points to begin with, so a high intelligence stat isn't as critical. You'll see what I'm talking about here. So first off, the class you choose determines which classes, or which skill groups you will be talented in. The yellow ones we have training in already, which means we can use one of these points to get one skill point. If you don't have training, it costs 2, and you can only take it half as high. I'm not going to go for treat injury on the grounds that the healing force powers in this game are actually pretty good. So dependence on med pack just isn't quite the same. Also, it's fairly easy to, like, I think all characters can regenerate vitality points, which was not in the previous game. Only Canderous could do it in the last one. I'm not going to bother with stealth, I don't think, just because I usually get my hands dirty. Awareness is actually not a particularly useful skill. It's better to invest in a party member having it. But I like the idea that the Exile would develop the skills of, you know, being aware, like, sort of situation they end up in. That's going to be important. And Persuade is, of course, always nice to have. Feats. Because of the class we chose, got light armor, critical strike, flurry, and power attack. So these are for melee moves. They're basically, you trade off accuracy for some other nice bonus with each one of these. So flurry, it's an extra attack. Power attack, it's the chance to do more damage, I believe. And critical strike increases your critical hit range. These are just the versions of it for ranged attacks. And then pretty much skilled in everything. Now, 2-weapon fighting is tempting, although we won't have 2 weapons for quite a while, so we can probably get away with not having it. Toughness is basically the equivalent of having 2 more constitution points for HP purposes. Single one-handed weapons. That's kind of useful. Generate force points. Lightsaber finesse. We won't have a lightsaber for a while, that's for sure. Oh, I think I'm just gonna go for 2-weapon fighting right off the top, because I imagine we'll have dual blaster pistols eventually. Shallow Rimsan. Well, the last name has to be waived. We'll make it half canonical. You'll be seeing kind of the canonical story of Knights of the Old Republic 2, because I do want you guys to see the story in the canon way, just so you can see, I don't know, how it leads to the stuff in the Old Republic, and just because this game actually has a pretty good story. It's quite dark. Also, just so you know, I've turned off, well, I thought I'd turned off videos. I'm just skipping through them. They're just not that good. It's mainly to resolve some recording problems. I might try sneaking them in later.
The Ebon Hawk is adrift in space after a terrible battle. Most of its crew are dead or dying.
Which one is she?
You lie in the medical room in critical condition. You won't survive long without medical attention. The hyperdrive is damaged. Main power must be restored in order to bring the engines online and dock with the nearby Paragus mining station for much-needed repairs. Your fate and that of the Ebon Hawk depend upon T3M4, a lone astromech droid. Return to this location at any time to skip the prologue.
And we're also going to skip the prologue just so we can get on with it. The prologue basically explains how WASD controls work for moving around and so on. And that's just, ugh. Well, maybe I'll keep the movies in after all. It'll complicate editing, but... some good landing, T3M4. Oh, who knows? Maybe I'll go in after the fact and put the crawl text back in. Seriously, we're not playing this game for the graphics. I've done a little modding of this game. There's notes within the dialogue files. And in the dialogue files where she says awaken, they actually explain that awakening is a theme of the game. True story. Even look how the station wakes to life around the mysterious stranger. Alright, we have a journal entry, might as well read it. Medical Bay, unknown facility. Well, we aren't on a Republic capital ship, and we weren't before that. Need to find out where you are, and how you got here, and where the clothes are. Got a door. We have security skills, so we can not open that door ever. Well, that was fun. This one, I would understand why this one won't be hackable. Yeah. We cannot bash through the door with our bare hands. Whoops. Little funky moment for the controls there. Thank you, med packs. Those will be somewhat helpful. Well, that sucks. I turned off tooltips, but I thought it would give you feedback on how many hit points you had. Appears I was wrong. Security hacksaw. Chemicals are used for item creation. There's also components. They're also used for item creation. They're sort of the currency. Alright, start with the medical logs.
Still examining the survivors of the damaged freighter. Looks like it goes by the name of the Ebon Hawk. Only one survivor, placed in the coltal tank for recovery. The carbon
So that would
scoring
be
on the
us.
vessel suggests it was in a battle, but no indication of who fired on it. Couldn't get much from the Nava computer. I'm surprised the ship was able to make it inside the Paragus asteroid field without the asteroid drift charts. Aside
Well,
from the lone
T3M4.
survivor, we recovered an old woman. No life signs. There was also a protocol droid and a utility droid on board. Sent both down to maintenance while security sorts through the other items on the ship. It looks like the utility droid, a T3 unit, was able to get the ship working enough to get to the colony. We're prepared to...
Alright. So I guess they're just having some computer problems.
Could be a Jedi, but we won't know for sure until we get the transmission back from the Republic. If the survivor is a Jedi, that would account for the recovery rate.
Yeah.
We're more concerned that a Jedi here may cause trouble. Some of the miners, especially Corta, are already another accident today. A detonation in the ventilation tunnels. If the lockdown measures hadn't activated, the whole facility would have been destroyed. Most of the injured to the Kolto tanks in time, but the rest had to go to the morgue. One of the wounded said a droid caused the accident, but we couldn't get any specifics.
Apparently T3M4 is trying to destroy the place now.
Miners about the Jedi. A number of the droids have been acting oddly, and not even memory wipes seem to be fixing the problem. There was a detonation in another one of the fuel vents the droids were working in. We deactivated several of them, and moved them down to maintenance. But we're still treating the plasma burns. That cuts us down to almost half shifts, and with the droids malfunctioning, we may not make
sector
the
virus
for this month. Fortunately, the detonation didn't cause a lockdown.
Warning. There has been a fuel detonation in the mining tunnels. Emergency lockdown commencing. All personnel report to quarters and prepare for emergency venting countermeasures.
No! If the ventilation systems are malfunctioning, evacuate the medical bay. Everyone evacuate.
Well, it looks like she got out of there safely. Ugh. Patient life signs. Oh. Everyone but us died. Well, I always knew I felt special. Unlock the door to the morgue. Yeah. I don't really care about the, Can we get stuff? Okay. It's just telling us we can make stuff there. Well, that's not that interesting to me. So we've got the old dead woman. And now we have a plasma torch. The game told me you were dead like 3 times.
Find what you're looking for amongst the dead. Close to death. Yes, closer than I'd like. You have the smell of the Kolto tank about you. How do you feel?
Well, I was also close to death.
Yes, I had hoped as much. I slept here too long and could not awaken.
Well, you are very
Maybe
old.
I reached out unconsciously, and your mind must have been a willing one. Or perhaps you have been trained for such things.
Well, I'm a Jedi.
I am Kreia, and I am your rescuer, as you are mine. Tell me, do you recall what happened? Your ship was attacked. You were the only survivor. A result of your Jedi training, no doubt. Your stance, your walk tells me you are a
What
Jedi.
walks like a
Your
Jedi,
walk
and
is
Jedi
heavy.
sounds like
You
a
carry
Jedi, and looks like
something
a
that weighs you
Jedi.
down.
Well, I don't actually know what weighs me down at this point in the story.
I do not know. I was removed from the events of the world as I slept. A survey of the surroundings may provide the answers we seek.
The ship we arrived in, the Ebon Hawk, must still be in this place. We should recover it and leave.
Yeah.
We were attacked once, and I fear our attackers will not give up the hunt so easily.
And I get the
Without
impression she
transport,
knows who they
weapons,
are.
and information, they will find us easy prey indeed. Even as I slept, I felt much unrest here. I saw strange visions, minds colored with fear. Now, everything here feels terribly silent. A last word of caution. I would find out as much as you can about this place quickly. I fear we will need to depart as suddenly as we arrived.
Noted. Yeah.
You may wish to extend your search to some clothes, if only for proper first impressions.
You got it.
I'm not offering to help you. I'm not so young as to leap from death's door as quickly as you.
Sounds good.
I leave you to the explorations of this place. Here I will remain and attempt to center myself.
Yes, I suppose she was almost dead. Although the game technically told us she was dead more often than it has told us she's not dead. So, I guess I'm still on the fence. Yeah, you show that door. Please? There we go. A vibro cutter, which is like a vibro blade. Alright, I could have 2 to 7 damage or 1 to 10. Well, this is a higher number. Broken droid. Now, one thing you need to know about this game is that it's sort of, they wanted to make it so you could play through it in basically any order you want. So the treasures, or the loot as we should call it, those drops are determined pseudo-randomly based on your level. Same with enemy strength. Now, I don't actually prefer that style of doing things. Oh good, a mining laser. However, some of the drops and so on are fixed as well. Like, for example, I do think you are guaranteed to pick up a gun fairly early on. And, you know, critical story items and so on. Those aren't randomly done. Yeah, I should just use a regular attack here. So good gunslinging. There we go. Oh, a broken droid. More droid equipment, but we don't have any droids with us.
This is the exit, but it is sealed. Strange. In my visions, it was open.
Well, this is thoroughly disappointing. She is looking through our eyes. Okay, so let's find ourselves an access terminal. That security desk should do, but I'm just going to check the body first. If you smash these things and they contain chemicals or components, sometimes you will ruin them. They don't like vibrations, but you can carry them around in your pocket just fine. Straight into combat. Hollow orientation. Yeah.
Is this thing on? Alright, all hands, especially you, Corder. Listen up, because I'm not gonna say this again. The next one of you Juma heads to try and smuggle a blaster, or so help me, any sort of military-grade frag weapons into my facility is gonna take a long walk out the airlock. Why? Because in case you forgot, Paragian fuel explodes at high temperatures.
Thanks for the exposition, buddy.
That chunk out of Paragus 2 and created this asteroid field. So if I catch any of you with anything other than sonic charges or mining lasers, I'll burn you and your contract. Security out.
If it's that volatile, wouldn't it all have reacted by now? It's like gotta be exposed to solar rays and stuff.
According to one of the miners, it was because one of the sonic charges went off prematurely. And like before, it was one set by a mining droid. The three idiots were grouped so close to the charge it might as well have been a grenade going off. The blast turned their bones to dust. The blast wrecked the internal components of the droid that set the charge, though, so we can't even dissect it to see what happened. I don't like what's going on here. Ever since that Jedi showed up, things are getting worse.
We're a bad omen.
Corda and his miners, or the fights, but now the droids are acting crazy. If we don't find what's causing this, or who, this facility's gonna be space dust by the time the next Telos freighter arrives.
Maybe you guys should leave now.
So, you're in maintenance. Then maybe you can tell me what's going on with these droids.
Sir, I don't know. It's like their behavior cores are undergoing binary decay, but I can't find the source. This shouldn't be happening.
Well, that's
Turn them
reassuring.
off.
It isn't happening. So the the next time we nearly have a breach in the ventilation tunnels, I could just close my eyes and pretend it's my imagination. You better give me some answers. I want to know the damage these droids can do if they start mining us instead of asteroid rock.
Sir, these droids aren't combat models. Their mining lasers are weaker and less accurate than blasters.
Oh, well, I feel good about that.
Are you blind? What about the miners in medbay? It's sabotage, and it started right after the commander said we weren't going to sell the Jedi to the exchange.
Wait, what?
So I want you to find out how these droids are being sabotaged. That'll tell me who's trying to clear a path to get that Jedi off the facility and stop him. In the meantime, make sure the security's armed with all the ion and sonic charges you can find. If those droids start coming after me, I'm gonna need more than low-grade mining lasers to take them down. Clear?
Yes, sir. Maintenance control out.
Idiot.
Isn't the maintenance guy like the most suspicious one if all the droids are malfunctioning?
I installed an override switch to shut down any droids on this level, just in case someone locks me out of the administration console. As added insurance, I tied the override switch into the circuit to the holding cell door. It'll make sure it can only be opened if all droids in the level are shut down.
Got it.
I doubt Corda or any of his men have the skill to pull off something like this, but I'm not taking any chances while we're sitting in the middle of this asteroid minefield. Whoever's responsible won't be able to have the droids rescue him after I lock him up. Nothing will cut through that door. He'll be trapped.
I'm sure it could never backfire.
I secured the stealth field generator inside one of the footlockers in the security storage room. If I have the specs right, the interface field should be effective against the droid's sensors. All I need to do is equip the belt and some skill with stealth in order to use it.
Can you hear the game mechanics being explained?
Close to the droids, they shouldn't detect me. If any more droids start malfunctioning, the belt should buy me enough time to get to the override switch I set up in the communications blister console. I'd rather shut them down than destroy them. I want to find out how these droids are being sabotaged. Maybe even turn them against whoever's sabotaging them.
Alright. That's us. That's a death trap. Looks clear. Prisoner, who is actually safe because he's behind that super locked door. We were just there, and that's it. Alright, I'm going to end the video here. I'm pretty sure on the other side of that door is the death trap, so we'll take it on next time.